Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to stop by my talk today. My name is Jon Helmus, and I'm going to be presenting a talk called The Roadmap to Becoming a Cybersecurity Author. This is going to be a talk that is going to discuss how you can go from taking an idea about a book that you want to write and actually turning it into a book. Cybersecurity professionals, we're naturally curious, and naturally we want to give back. Writing a book is a great and fantastic way to do that. So the talk today that I'm going to be presenting is going to be a little agnostic, where it doesn't really necessarily have to be directly related to cybersecurity. However, we can kind of spin it a little bit more into where it fits into the security realm. So that being said, why don't we go ahead and get to the good stuff? So the agenda for today is we're going to have a quick introduction about myself. I got to at least tell you a little bit about myself before we actually start talking about what I want to talk about. That way, you can take me serious or not take me serious. Either way, you'll also notice that I throw in little puns and jokes here and there. Then we're going to talk about the reasons why we want to write books. There's a million reasons why, and we just want to make sure that they align with our goals and the reason why we want to write a book. Then we got to talk about what it is that you want to write about, and make sure that really aligns with your compass and your skill sets and what you want to do and what you want to give back. And then we talk about how we need to write, right? There's a difference from writing a blog or writing papers for school than there is to actually write a book. Rather, you're publishing or self-publishing. Or I'm sorry, if you're self-publishing or publishing through an author. You're going to have different ways of how you have to write. Especially when you're working with an author, you have to write in a style of how they want you to write, which is going to fall in line also with the next point, expectations and intentions. What's going to be the expectations of you and the publisher if you go that route, as well as the intentions. What are your intentions with this book? And I think that's a big thing. It also falls in line with the why and the what. What are your intentions? Why do you want to write this book? What are your intentions to maintaining focus to write the book? Things like that. Then I'm going to finish it off with some lessons learned that I actually experienced from writing my own book through the publisher PAC, which you might have seen on the screen beforehand, and then we're also going to mention them towards the end. So I worked with PAC this past year to write a book called AWS Penetration Testing, which comes out later this fall, late fall, early winter. And I wanted to share just some of the things that I had learned along my journey this year from writing a cybersecurity book. So who am I? My name is Jon Helmus. I'm a penetration testing lead over at Nordstrom headquarters based out of Seattle, Washington. When I'm not there hacking the planet and doing adversarial assessments, I'm an online adjunct professor at National University based out of San Diego. However, I teach online, so I get to do it from the comfort of my home up here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm also an adjunct professor at City University of Seattle. I teach online, teach various master level courses, bachelor level courses that range in different types of cybersecurity courses. I meant to mention at National, I 100% focus on offensive security, so ethical hacking, red teaming, advanced exploitation, things like that. I'm also a PhD student at the Dakota State University. I'm getting a PhD of cyber operations. I'm also an author. I will be a actually published author here by December. The book is finished up. We're just, going through the motions of finishing everything up on the publisher side, and then we're going to have it out to you in the first or second week of December. I'm also the author of the DEF CON talk, The Roadmap to Becoming a Penetration Tester. That's a talk that I go about talking about how you can develop a student mindset no matter what part of your career you're in to actually become a pen tester. I also have my own blog. You can check me out on Medium. I run a blog where I put out a couple things every month that vary in different types of content, whether it's technical or it's not technical. So let's get into it, right? Common whys. There's going to be a lot of reasons why you want to write a book. And I'm going to tell you, there's not really a wrong reason, as long as it aligns with you and not someone else. And This is something that, especially if you're writing for a publisher, you might have conflicts because you might not know, might not agree why you're writing the book. You want to make sure that you're writing a subject or about a subject that you want to write about. So here's some common whys though, and let's really kind of go down the road here. You're a writer by heart. I'm someone who I like to write quite a bit. I write papers a lot. I write on a blog. I write just in general. I'm someone who likes to write a lot. You'll discover who you are. When you're writing for a publisher, you have to maintain a timeline. And you're going to learn a lot about yourself by going through that timeline, as well as learning all the new things that you're going to be writing about. So you're going to learn a lot about yourself, the things that you're capable of, and learning new things that you didn't even know you were capable of. You're going to have a professional piece of work. Having a book with your name on it is, sounds kind of silly, but it's exhilarating. Knowing that you have a tangible piece of something that you get to give out to the world, that the world gets to actually read and learn from is a really good feeling. You'll make money from writing a book. While we don't always want to say that monetary reasons are the reasons why we do things, they definitely do help. And when you're writing a book, once you're all finished up and you start generating revenue off the book, depending on the sales, you can make, I hear about individuals that write tech books and they make 25 to 50 grand a year off of a book. And, that's a good side chunk of change for writing a book. Our time here isn't forever, so make something that lasts. So when your time is up here, you have something that, has given back to the world. And that sounds silly with cybersecurity, but in hindsight, 10 years, 20 years down the road, and you're looking at the book that you wrote to help provide an impact on the field, you might not think that because we're, in a technology era, and we're quickly moving to where cybersecurity is, it's not just a thing anymore. It's becoming part of culture where, we have businesses that they have their products that they're delivering, and then the validity of that product is based off of the cybersecurity programs for that company. You'll accomplish a new challenge. Writing a book is definitely a challenge, and that's all I'm going to say about that right now. You're going to gain a lot of knowledge. I gained a lot of knowledge about things that I didn't understand before or at least didn't understand at the level that I thought I could over the course of the past year with the topics that I wrote about. And you're going to do the same thing. So when you're looking at books that you want to write, or topics you want to write books about rather, make sure that it's got some stuff in there that's going to keep you out of your comfort zone, because you're going to gain some knowledge by being out of your comfort zone. You'll get to share your own expertise. Point in case is I was writing about AWS pen testing this year. I've been doing pen testing for a while. However, I wasn't an AWS pen tester, so to speak. I'd pen tested AWS before. However, resources on it are very slim. So we had to, we meaning me and the publisher, had to do some research to really find material that would make a really good impactful and comprehensible book that would give value to the industry. And because of that, I got to share my own expertise as a pen tester, and then the knowledge gained from AWS, and get to really peak both of those together and give it back to the field through the book. And then also because you can, if rather you got 10 fingers or 6 fingers or 4 fingers, you can write the book. And really, that's all there is to it. You can write the book. So if you fit any of these points on here, don't second guess yourself. Go reach out to a publisher and see if maybe, your ideas might actually excite them, or they might actually find value in it. So now that we understand the whys, now we got to go through our list of what to write about. All right. Well, you want to make sure it's something you have passion in. You don't want to just write about any kind of topic or subject just to write about it, just to have your name on a book. That's where a lot of times, if you're following the money rather than the passion, you're not gonna make any money off of a book if you're just following it for the money, because then you're just writing to write. You want to make sure that what you write about has value and that it relates to you. And the biggest way for it to relate to you is you to have a natural passion for it. Because I'm telling you right now, if you don't have passion for what you're writing about, it's going to be really difficult to write about it, because you're going to be spending a lot of late nights and extra hours writing a book. You're not going to see any revenue or direct value from it until it gets published. So when you're thinking about topics that you want to write about, really think about it. Hey, can I write about this for 6 months to a year or even more? And can I take constructive criticism off of this subject and understand that my passion will lead me through all of the constructive criticism to better myself and my knowledge of the subject? So really think about that. It's something you want to learn more about. I really wanted to learn more about AWS and how I could bridge the gap between pen testing and AWS and help give back to the community to help develop AWS pen testing frameworks. So I was lucky enough that I actually was reached out to by the publisher about brainstorming the idea. So when you're thinking about subjects that you want to learn more about, understand that, it doesn't have to be something directly related to with AWS pen testing. You wouldn't have to say, okay, I want to write about AWS pen testing, but you could say, I like Azure, and there's not really anything about doing analysis of Azure, and I want to write a book about Azure analysis, because you are a subject matter expert in either Azure or system analysis, or either one, and then you're able to bridge that gap where you learn more about the other subject and use your expertise in the other subject to have a peak of both. And then the last one is, it's something that could help your industry. You really want to make sure that you're writing about something that's going to have value and an impact on the industry, and that is going to hold value for at least a few years, because that book is going to have your name on it, and it's going to help others in the industry, and it's going to be referenced a lot. So make sure that, when you're writing about something and you're thinking about what to write about, that it also has an impact. So it says, even if someone has written about it, you still should. And that's a big, big takeaway, is that when you're writing about a topic or you're thinking about what to write, and you might think, oh, well, so-and-so has already written about it, and this person's already written about it. I don't really want to write about that, or I shouldn't write about that because they already wrote about it. Don't do that. You should definitely 100% write about it, especially if you have passion in it, and especially if it's something you want to learn more about, and especially if you think that it's something that's going to allow you to grow, because guess what? If it's going to hit those 3 pillars, it's going to hit those 3 pillars with other people. And I'm sure there are other people out there that want to learn the subject. The other thing is that understand that your voice is different than others' voice or other people's voices. So when another person writes in their voice, it might be different than yours, and your voice might actually relate differently to other readers, and it might relate better. So when you're thinking about a subject, don't worry if somebody else has already written about it. Just understand that it's going to have an impact and hold value to your target audience and the industry. So how to get started. This is the big thing, right? So we understand why we want to write. Okay, we have all the reasons why we want to write. And now we understand what we want to write about. Okay, so we've picked our topic, our topics. Okay, so now we need to think about those selling points, right? How are we going to sell this to a publisher, right? So you think about all your topics and you go through them and you say, okay, I'm going to finally pick this one topic. And you really set your crosshairs on that. Okay, so then what you need to do is you need to understand that you're going to have to find different publishers to go write to. So at the end of this talk, I'll have a list of different publishers that you can write to. But know that when you're going to write to them, you can typically go to the author section of any publisher, and they'll have a submit form where you go and you write a description about the book that you want to write. And where it says write a description in 500 words, That's typically the common theme of what they want. They want a description. They want to obviously have your background, your knowledge in the subject that you're wanting to write about, and what the impact it is going to have on the industry that you're writing for. You're also going to want to write an outline. The outline is going to take you a little bit, because what the outline is basically going to be a high level overview of your entire book and your entire book idea. So what does that mean? You're going to have to write out your chapters. Then you're going to have to write out the subheaders in your chapters. And you're going to have to really focus on the key points of what you want to talk about. So it's really going from picking your topic or topics and then really picking a final topic, diving into different areas of that topic that would have relevance to the idea that you want to write about, right? And I can't tell you what to write about. Only you can understand what you want to write about. Writing a 500-word mission statement, essentially, about that book. And then writing a high overview of the chapters and the sections in that book. So it goes from high overview to very, very granular and meta, so to speak. So it's going to be a process before you even start talking about the book with a publisher. So know that. And then once you get everything sent off, it's going to take some time before it even gets accepted. So understand it is a slow grind before you even, start talking about the book with the publisher, sign papers to get everything started and going, and then actually start really writing the book. So those are some things and that's also kind of ties into the lessons learned, is where you're going to have to do all this heavy lifting before you even have an agreement with a publisher. Now, if you don't want to go with a publisher and you want to self-publish, this is still something that you want to do, because this is going to help you in the long run, because essentially what you're doing is you're giving yourself a roadmap. And then obviously, like I said, you're going to look for publishers. You're going to take those forms, fill them out with your 500-word mission statement and your all your sections broken down, and then you're going to submit those forms. I recommend that you pick a publisher that best fits you. However, if this is your first book, maybe try out all the publishers that you think might interest you. And again, we'll have a list here in a minute that talks about the publishers that you can go look at. Then what's going to happen is you're going to send it off to them, and they're going to review everything. And then what they're going to do is they're going to typically email you back with a yay or a nay, and you go from there. And then from there, if say you get a couple publishers that say they want to agree to help you write your book and publish it out on their platform, don't say no to all of them except one. Go and actually talk to them. We live in an era that we're able to do video conferences on a whim. So do a quick video call with them, talk about your ideas about the book, what it is that they expect out of you for the book, and go from there. And then once you have done that with all the publishers that said yes to your book, that's when you pick your book. You review and you sign your book contract with them. Make sure that everything is cohesive and comprehensible to you and to them, and that everyone agrees to what needs to be done in the timeline that you both agree upon, as well as the compensation. Make sure that when you're working with a publisher that you agree on the compensation. Obviously, they are going to take a cut of the revenue, and they're going to take a large cut of it because they are providing you a service, they're providing you their brand, and they are going to be the ones that are copying out the book and putting it out there for you. And then once all that's good and done, then you start writing. And then it's just the road of writing and getting through that process. So expectations, right? Roadblocks. That's a big thing that I want you to know. You're going to have roadblocks with this. You're going to write a chapter, submit it off, and guess what's going to happen? The publisher is going to say, hey, we need you to fix this. And something that you put your heart and soul into is going to be shredded pretty much in front of you. Can't put it any more simple like that. What you have to do is you have to separate your feelings from reality and understand that the publisher is not coming from a place of shame. They're actually coming from a place to just inspire a little bit of humility into you, and make sure that you are, on the same page with them, and that you're going to write in the style that they want you to write in. You're going to have some love-hate feelings with yourself, the book that you're writing, and with the publisher. Again, separate your feelings from reality and understand that it's a business and you're on a business contract. So therefore, you need to make sure that you maintain a professional appearance when you're writing a book. You're going to experience writer block and more writer block. I did it a lot when I was writing my book over the past year, and I was very transparent with my publisher and said, hey, I just need a little bit extra time to do some research, or I need to take a break for about a week so that I don't hit burnout, right? You're going to find a lot of times that you're going to hit burnout, especially if you're writing a book while you're also working. When I was writing my book this past year, I was working, I was teaching, and I was in school, and it was a lot to juggle. However, passion's going to help fuel that, and it's going to help you manage your time a lot better. And I know that sounds silly, cheesy, cliche, but it's really going to help. So make sure that you have love and passion. And if you do, it'll lead the way in a sense where it will help you manage your time, and you will sacrifice things that you didn't think you would have to sacrifice. But in the long run, when your book is done, hindsight, you'll say that it was 100% worth it because you have something that has your name on it that's helping out the community. And then the intentions, make sure you're passionate about it. You're going to have tenacity and make a big effort to do this. And I mentioned that with, making sure that you're going to have to be really, a leader to yourself in time management. It's going to take a lot of durability out of yourself to just do this over and over and over again. And by that, I mean writing every day, even if it's a little bit. There will be days where you write a page, and there will be days where you write 2 chapters. I had plenty of times like that where some days I couldn't make the effort because I was just too drained, and I'd write maybe a page, if that. And then there'd be days where I'd write, I don't know, like I remember actually writing in a week. I remember writing 2 chapters. I just blazed through it. And understand that that's normal. That's 100% normal. And I say here, writing a book is not sexy, cool, or easy. It takes consistency, hard work, and a lot of late nights. And that's 100% true. And I've talked to a lot of other authors, and it's the same. And the big hurdle is not seeing direct value for yourself off of your book, or even for the ones that you're writing the book for your target audience, because you may write 3 or 4 chapters of your book, and then you're saying, oh, this is so good, this would help out the industry so good, I just want to give it out right now, and you can't do that. And you're also not getting, direct monetary value off of it. So you're like, I just spent, 100 hours writing out this book and I haven't seen a dime. Like, what's going on? Understand that is normal. You're going to have those feelings, but also understand that this is about a lot more things than just direct, instant gratification. It's about playing the long game and understanding that the light is at the end of the tunnel. It's just a fairly long tunnel, but the light at the end of the tunnel is very, very bright. So lessons learned. Big thing that I want to share from my experience is that the big thing is that you need to stop if you feel that you're about to burn out. Because if you feel like you're about to burn out, then you're not going to be able to write for a while. I burnt out a little bit during my my authoring stage over the past year, and I had to take a few weeks off because I couldn't do it. And I had a lot of other things that I had to get done. So that had to take the front seat, and it had to just go on the back burner for a little bit. And you're going to feel a little bad, but you're going to understand once you get through the burnout period and you're refreshed and you're good and new to go, you're going to, give yourself a pat on the back, because it's the biggest reward you could give for yourself, is giving you that little time, which essentially acts as a Band-Aid. Set realistic expectations. Don't say that you're going to write a chapter in a week if you realistically know it's going to take you 3 weeks. Don't speed up the time just to get things done. Right? Writing a book shouldn't consume your life. It should be a part of your life, but not actually be your life. So understand that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Rome wasn't built overnight, and neither is your book. But the passion that you have for your book is going to fuel your way forward and really help you out. Make sure that you pick a topic that has value for yourself and for the industry, because that's going to fuel the fire for you. And I mentioned that before. If you don't have a book or a book idea that you're really passionate about, you won't make it. You won't make it because it's not easy. So make sure that when you think about the topic that you want to write about, it has value to your morals, and it has value to yourself and to those individuals that you're going to be helping out, that are going to be reading it. Maintain a positive communication with your publisher. Like I said, you're going to have love-hate feelings at times with your publisher. Understand that it's business and it's not personal. Make sure that you maintain that positive communication, because there will be times where you'll say, hey, I can't meet this deadline. I have things going on in my life. I feel like I'm about to burn out. I did hit burnout. There's a million different reasons why. So make sure that you're following through and being positive and transparent with your publisher. Big, big thing. And then don't take things personal. Again, you're writing about something that you have passion in, and you're really looking forward to it, and you get kind of antsy at times. I know I did, where you really want to just give out the material and share it with the world, but you can't do it. And it causes mixed feelings. So make sure that you put those aside, because you don't need to worry about it. Don't take anything personal. It's a big business trip. And it's a business trip with you, yourself, and your publisher. And as long as you guys maintain positive communication and you see eye to eye on everything, it's going to be fine. And again, writing a book should not be the everything of your life, right? It should not be where you're having to write all day, every day. It should just be a part of your life. It should be something that is fueling interest, desire, passion, and helping, make a better impact on the field. So really, really remember that. And as I mentioned, I wanted to say, these are some publishers that you can go through. There's PAC, O'Reilly, No Starch Press, and A Press. Those are some really big publishers that you can go through when you're trying to publish out, through a publisher. Amazon Publishing, you can do it yourself. However, you're not going to get, technical reviews and soft reviews of your book. You're going to have to do that your own, and you're going to have to pay, people to do it, unless you're best friends with a bunch of technical writers and a bunch of book reviewers. You're going to have to pay for it. So I always recommend, if it's your first book, go and look at publishers, because they're really going to help you understand what it takes to write a book and how to write towards a target audience. And then after that, if you don't want to write for a publisher anymore, and you would just go do the self-publishing route. But you'll have that mindset, you'll have that framework in your head and understanding from the experience from writing from a publisher, what it takes to actually publish a book. And then you can do it yourself. So again, if you're writing a book for the first time, go through a publisher. And then once you get that book out of the way, if you want to do self-publishing, go the self-publishing route. So, closing thoughts. I always like to say this at the end of my talks. You're going to start writing this book, and you're going to be so excited. And you're going to hit speed bumps. You're going to have to rewrite chapters, or, it's going to feel really, really, really bad. But know that that's just part of the learning experience. It's just part of the whole journey itself. And when you come out on the other end and you have a book that you're able to share with the world and make an impact, you grow, and the people that you help grow. So just, if anything, remember that it's a long journey, and it's going to have its ups and downs, but the end goal is amazing for you and for the people you're helping out. And that's my talk. I really, really want to say thank you again for everyone who came out today to watch the talk. I'm unfortunately not able to take questions today. I've recorded this previously before you watched it. So if you want to contact me, if you have any ideas, or you want to talk about anything related to cybersecurity or authoring your own book, you can find me on Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as my blog on Medium. I actually don't have any additional upcoming events except for my book release, which comes out on December 9th. It's called AWS Penetration Testing. You can find it on Amazon right now. The paperback version of the book is $40, and then the Kindle version is $26, I believe. Proceeds from the book are actually going to the Shelter to Soldier Foundation, where at-risk veterans are given at-risk pups. Sorry. They're given at-risk dogs and puppies that are in shelters where they're at risk of being euthanized, and they turn them into service dogs. So if you want to help out a dog that's in a shelter that's getting turned into a service dog, and then also help out a veteran, please buy the book. I'm donating proceeds to that organization. So hopefully this was educational, entertaining, and insightful for you. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on social media. Buy the book, help out a veteran, help out a pup, and I'll see you guys around. Thanks again.